Greetings, this is the Mastodane. Today, I was going to talk about the Muslims' hatred of dogs. Yep, they do, they hate dogs, man. You can't have any angels in your house if you got them dogs. Arr. Well, okay, anyway, but something else caught my ears today. My producer, Daniela, was listening to a very old video of Al Gore and some fancy scientists from Princeton University and the president then, Bill Clinton, we're talking like 1997, talking about cloning babies. Yep, you heard me right, cloning babies. Oh, and that a moratorium should be put on cloning babies. So, before I get into this, I don't want you to take my word on this, because it is crazy stuff, man. We're going to talk about some crazy stuff. So just Google Clinton 1997 Rose Garden cloning babies. And I really wanted to play this entire 15-minute clip, but there's a lot of blah, 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 and just a lot of mind-blowing stuff, but I want you to Google it. But I'm just going to share some of the mind-blowing highlights. So let me start with a simple, wildly unpopular observation. Governments do not place moratoriums on things that don't exist. Like, they don't pause unicorn breeding. Yeah, no unicorn breeding. Don't put a pause on that. They don't halt time travel experiments. And they don't convey emergency bioethics panels over fairy tales. So listen carefully to what then VP Gore says here.
The cloning of human cells and genes does not pose the same ethical questions as cloning an entire human being. And it really is essential that this important research continue.
The cloning of human cells and genes does not pose the same ethical questions as cloning an entire human being, and it's really essential that this important research continue? Okay, alright, well, then comes the president of Princeton, obviously some, highfalutin scientist too, and I want you to listen closely to what he says.
On behalf of the members of the National Bioethics Advisory Commission, I am pleased to present the report you requested on the legal and ethical issues that have been raised by the sudden potential to clone human beings by a new technology with rather remarkable characteristics.
Alright, sudden potential to clone human beings by a new technology with rather remarkable characteristics. Did you hear him say that? Remarkable characteristics? And the sudden potential? Sudden, like, did this come from aliens? Like, suddenly, we can clone human beings. I mean, what do you think he meant by remarkable characteristics? I mean, are we talking superhero stuff? What? I'm just asking. Obviously, we're talking about the Clintons, so I'm asking for a friend. Alright, so when the Clinton administration stood at that podium in 1997 and announced that the current moratorium, gosh, now I can't even say the word, moratorium, jeez Louise, these are hard words, I'm black, and I'm a dog, so you know what, sometimes I can't get it right the first time. So, a current moratorium on attempts to create cloned human children should be continued. That word continued should have set off 1,000 internal alarm bells. So let's just continue this moratorium. Like, what? So they were doing it? This is 1997, people. Oh my gosh. So continue. Not proposed, not imagined, not just in case this ever becomes possible someday, but continued. We're going to continue not doing this for a little bit.
We therefore recommend that the current moratorium on attempts to create children in this manner be continued, and that you immediately ask for voluntary compliance in the private sector.
I mean, which means there was already a pause in place, which means there was already enough motion behind the scenes to justify hitting the brakes. Yet, the public was gently spoon-fed the idea that this was all speculative, futuristic, hypothetical handwriting, a philosophical exercise, a sci-fi discussion. Except, that's not how humans talk when something is imaginary. They didn't say cloning humans was impossible. They didn't say it couldn't be done. They said, it could be dangerous. Yep. Dangerous is not the word you use for something that doesn't work. Dangerous is the word you use when something does work, just not well enough yet. And notice, what they actually targeted, not cloning research, not nuclear transfer techniques, not embryo creation or cellular cloning or upstream experimentation. All big words, man. Whew, I'm so proud of myself. They targeted births. Yeah, births. Baby births. Attempts to create children in this manner. Yeah, that was a quote. That's a regulatory sleight of hand. It means, like translation, do whatever you want in the lab, just don't show or tell anyone about it. Yeah, that's not a ban. That's a PR firewall. And remember, this was about 30 years ago. They, them, whoever they were obviously cloning babies. And Clinton is like, yeah, we should pause this and not fund these experiments.
That is why I acted in March to ban the use of federal funds for cloning human beings and to urge the private sector to observe the ban voluntarily.
Like, I'm asking, oh please, you should do this. And Clinton's like, I asked nicely for people to stop cloning babies. And I'm asking all you private money people, all you really, really uber rich, crazy, freaking mad scientist kind of people, yeah, just let's put a pause on this for a little bit. Let's all agree. Oh my gosh. It's the same exact game they ran decades later with gain-of-function research. We were told it was paused. Yep. We were told nothing like that was happening on our watch. Fauci said something to the tune of, hey, the government told us they weren't going to fund gain-of-function for lethal viruses. Yeah, so obviously we had nothing to do with the coronavirus. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, now that's funny stuff in a big fat lie sort of way. Then we discovered federal money. Imagine that. Still flowed through middlemen, nonprofits, redefined categories. Same experiment. New labels, different paperwork. Everyone technically compliant. Everyone operational, full speed ahead, except it all happens in China. And no, we had nothing to do with that. Nope. And if you think so, you're a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, moratoriums are not kill switches. No, they're at a very minimum. Let's just pause for a second here, people. Okay, just a second. Let's pause. Let's stop cloning babies for just a second. Oh gosh, no, moratoriums they're more like mute buttons. Yeah, just don't say it out loud, man. Don't stop the machine, just lower the volume. And I tell you what, I want to know how many actual humans have been cloned. And where are they, exactly? Because, nobody actually stopped doing it. You're stupid if you thought that. I mean, you got Bill Clinton saying, we really hope you private cloners stop cloning. Yeah, stop the cloning. Huh. Yeah, right. We stop, yeah, sure, Which now brings me to some wild conspiracy I heard from my producer, Daniela, that Epstein may now have his own private lab on his island. Well, he's dead, of course. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe he is, maybe he's not. But there's a lot of, scuttlebutt and suspicion going around right now on the interweb, the World Wide Web, that, maybe Epstein was doing some experiments on his little island there. Most people think they know the Jeffrey Epstein story. Underage girls, sex trafficking, blackmail, powerful clients. All true. Yep, all true. But wildly incomplete. Epstein didn't just hang around politicians and, royalty. He embedded himself in elite scientific circles. Yeah, he sure did. Genetics, artificial intelligence, synthetic biology, human enhancement, longevity. Longevity. Okay, I'm gonna try to say these words without sounding like an untrained big black dog. Transhumanist adjacent futurism. Jeez, what the heck is that? My producer says you don't want to know. So, Epstein cultivated relationships with major researchers. He donated to institutions doing cutting-edge biological and technological work. He funded projects in evolutionary biology, cognitive science, AI, and complex systems. He positioned himself, no, not as a scientist, but as a patron. Like the person funding it all. Yeah, the one that's giving all the money to this stuff. Yeah. Kinda like, Bill Gates. Bill Gates? Yeah, Bill Gates, did he even graduate? Seriously, think about it. Gates' primary public focus areas are global health, vaccines, genetics, disease eradication, biotechnology, gosh, these are big words, data-driven population scale interventions. Yeah, and Epstein's documented interests, are shocking, this is going to shock you all, genetics, human enhancement, AI, that big giant transhumanistic adjacent ideas, Jesus, try to say that word 3 times. Elite scientific patronage, yeah, that's a real overlap. So, isn't it interesting that Bill Gates was over there all the time? Yeah, at that island, I think this goes way, I honestly think the whole sex scandal and underage girls and all of that stuff, I think that's like a cover for all this other baby cloning stuff. Yeah, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's my strategy here. You know why? Because power doesn't need to understand the equations. Power just needs access to the people who do. Now, does any of that prove Epstein has a secret cloning lab on his island somewhere? Yeah, no, nope. But it does make me suspicious when I see all these dots connecting. Epstein deliberately sought proximity to the exact scientific domains that overlap with genetic manipulation, human-directed evolution, and biological redesign. Weird, right? And at the same time, we know governments handle dangerous technology with moratoriums instead of bans, funding restrictions instead of shutdowns, and language games instead of honesty. So when someone says the idea that Epstein might have been interested in extreme biological research is crazy, I have to laugh. Yeah, he literally structured his social and philanthropic life around it. The more honest conversation is not, did Epstein run a secret lab on his island? No, the more honest question is, why are we so emotionally attached to believing that all dangerous research is neatly boxed, permanently forbidden, and heroically shut down by benevolent authorities? Yep, because history says the opposite. Fine. Yeah, let's not ban it. Yeah. Kind of like fire didn't get banned, gunpowder didn't get banned, nuclear physics didn't get banned, DNA manipulation didn't get banned, gain of function did not get banned. They all got managed, they all got classified, they all got rebranded, and they all continued. So when I look at a 1997 cloning situation, gosh, moratorium, like, and I look at Epstein's deep ties to frontier science, and I look at 30 years of regulatory theater since then, I don't see science fiction. I see a civilization that pretends to pause while it quietly proceeds. Yeah, they don't do this with fairy tales. Yeah, no moratorium on fairy tales. Which brings me back to that crazy conspiracy of Epstein and his laboratory theory, cloning babies there. Because here's the really crazy question that I want to know. Was that the real Epstein in the jail cell? I mean, was it? Yeah, I'm asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend, that's all. Okay, this is the Mastodane. Have a great day.